A big part of Crypto Pioneers is resource management. Although it's simple to collect and build, figuring out how to maximize production is a bit more complex. We've put together a resource that will help you make these choices. This is just an interim solution. We plan on moving this information to our site. So although the information is accurate, the presentation is very much a work in progress. So I'll bring up the document. This is publicly available, and everyone should have access to it. So this lists all of the current producers in game and provides details to the different modifiers and how it impacts the output. I'll walk you through a couple examples. So first here we're looking at pine trees, and you can see an example image of pine trees and what they look like in each of the biomes that we have. So desert, polar, tundra. It doesn't matter what biome variant that you're producing from, all pine trees produce the same thing, pine timber. Then to the right, you can see a couple of tables that list out the modifiers. For this resource, we decided to use a simple plus-minus system to describe impact. So plus means increasing production, minus means decrease, and equal means no effect. So the more pluses, the greater the impact that modifier has. We'll first talk about terrain. And terrain modifiers are applied in two ways. First, it's applied based on the terrain that the producer is on. And second, the terrain of each plot adjacent to that producer. For the adjacency, the effect of the terrain is about equal to 25% of the effect of the terrain that the producer is on. So that means that you're going to want to be focusing on finding the right match for the terrain that the producer is on first. So looking at the pine trees, we can see that plains has no effect on them. So if we bought a plot that had pine trees and it was plain, it wouldn't get an increase nor a decrease to its output. But we can see here that hill has the 2 plus sign bonus, which just means it's a medium increase in output. So knowing this, if I were looking for pine trees, I tried to find one that's on a hill to get that bonus. Next, we have what we call industry segment. And in this document, we can see it's indicated up here. For pine trees, it's pretty straightforward. It's tree. But if we look at this table, we can see the other potential industry segments that are in our game. And industry segments work off of adjacency. So in this case, for trees, they have +2, and agriculture, they have +3. So meaning for every tree that is adjacent to it, it gets a medium output increase. For every agriculture producer that's next to it, gets a large output increase. So again, if I were looking for trees, I'd be looking for one that's on a hill but's next to other trees or agriculture producers. And next, we're going to talk about industry segments. So every producer in our game has an industry segment assigned to it. If we look at the case of pine trees, we can see here that their industry segment is tree. But if we look at the table below, we see there's a number of other possible segments that producers could have. The industry modifiers work like the adjacent terrain modifiers. So for every producer that is adjacent to the one that you're producing from, it could have a potential impact based on the information that we have laid out here. So looking at pine trees, we see that it gets a medium bonus from being adjacent to trees, a large bonus from being adjacent to agriculture. So if I were looking for pine trees, I'd be looking for those plots that have big clusters of trees together, lots of adjacent trees, or trees adjacent to agriculture, knowing that I'm going to get the largest boost from those modifiers on my output. Now to show you what this looks like in game, let me switch back to the island real quick. So if I were looking for some potential plots to pick up or trees to produce from, I might hop down to this one. So we can see here that it's on a plane, so no bonus. It's also adjacent to all planes, so no bonus there. But it is adjacent to 3 trees plus this shrub, which if we referred to the guide would show us that this is an agriculture. So this may be a pretty good plot to produce from. We also have this plot here for pine trees. It is on a hill, which we know gets that bonus. It's also adjacent to another hill, so it's going to get that bonus. Adjacent to 3 mountain tiles, as well as three trees here. So this plot's probably a pretty good one to pick up if you're looking for pine production. So as you can tell, there's a lot of room for complexity in Crypto Pioneers, especially when we start to construct new buildings and begin laying out your supply chains. This is a big part of the game that you'll just need to experiment with. This section, I really just wanted to give you a brief introduction so you knew you had a starting point. And that's it. That's everything you need to know to get started playing Crypto Pioneers. This video is also a work in progress. We'll keep improving it and expanding it as we release more features, more content. And this is just the beginning for us. If you want to stay up to date, hop on our Discord. I'll put a link below. We have so many more exciting things planned, including tons of new buildings as we advance through the different ages of technology. We have scientists that'll boost production, artifacts that unlock new technologies, as well as a number of events and quests. So we hope to see you on Cryptopia.